Hell, it's BaseTradeTV.
Welcome back, guys. Game number 2 currently going underway. And to deliver the introduction here in the southern location over to the left from XMG, it's going to be the blue Protoss player ToD.
I'd play along if the person in the upper right wasn't E.G. Jaedong.
It's like the one time Zombie
Jesus
Grub does like a
frickin'.
super hype intro. It'll be like the one time it's Jaedong. I'll be like roaring up and ready to go. But no, legitimately guys, this is game number 2 in this best of 3. And this is for the DHOpen 2014 Bucharest. And you can't help be hyped. I was trying to keep it calm and soft though, because ToD, I don't know, didn't want to disrupt his vibes there. He's got to keep it together if he wants to bring this back. This is not going to be an easy man to beat. Jaedong is the tyrant, and for good reason. ToD does play a pretty solid playstyle, and the Blink Stalkers weren't exactly a terrible choice by any means, but a lot of that came down to just, I feel, that gold base, man, influenced that match so heavily.
I think so as well. You know, whether it was like, you know, Jaedong could afford those roaches so much earlier than ToD expected, or ToD, you know, felt pressure to do the all-in because the gold was taken, you know, any sort of that. But, you know, it's just, when we talked about ToD in the beginning and how, like, he was playing a very good, like, game last time we cast him, you know, that was an all-in. Like, you can't really see, like, are they calm? Are they collected? Like, it's just, you know, it's an all-in. Maybe he plays a macro game. Maybe he feels more confident on this map. Maybe then we see a bit more of that strength in the mid-game, late-game decision-making and patience.
I don't know. We can talk about all these things all day, but I think, like, and this sounds so silly because this is normally what we would, like, suggest to a player who's, like, a lower league. Either go for something that is going to be catching him off guard, like a stranger strategy, like, say, Mass Phoenix, or embracing Nomi's, like, double Stargate Oracle strat or something. Or just go for a bit of early aggression. Nothing all in, but, like, you know, don't let Jaedong get away with a free third. Don't let Jaedong go crazy. I mean, we can talk about safe and macro, but I think when it comes to safe and macro, that's also where both of these players flourish. And you gotta not fight Jaedong in any zone he's comfortable in.
Well, usually it's the big weakness of Jaedong is cannons. It's funny and all, but it's also pretty true.
I don't know that I've ever really seen ToD cannon, though, to be honest.
I know, and I feel like it might be a case of not that ToD is like the worst player or anything, but that it just so happens that Jaedong is very, very comfortable against a player like ToD.
The one weakness of most players is the one that ToD can't pull off. I shouldn't say can't. We haven't seen him really do it. I think a lot of players too. There's this kind of negative connotation with the idea of cannon rushing in the first place, you know, no skill, etc. But some players have also, like Stardust, proven you can win an entire tournament doing precisely that. He won a whole go for StarCraft where all he did was cannon rush every single game.
But yeah, I really do think that like the comfortableness of Jaedong is pretty high right now. Not only because maybe he like is just confident in general, but just ToD has a very comfortable style. He was comfortable with it. Anyways, ToD's gonna poke out a little bit here.
Do you want to see what we're comfortable about 5 or 6 more times? Just, you know, get out of your system.
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
I couldn't think of any other words for comfortable, so I was just like, oh, gotta say it again.
No, I hate that. That's the worst too. You're like, okay, I've said that word like twice now in the same sentence. I need to expand my vocabulary, my vernacular, if you will. But this thing actually surprisingly not only lives, but gets to the base for full scout off. And the biggest thing it scouts was ToD not having a second gas down. Now granted, when you see the early expansion like this, plus 2 gateways, it's pretty safe to assume there's not been anything too gas intensive made. But, you know, it's whoa, actually 2 lanes at the top of the century, trying to hit and run a little bit. ToD, of course, a little bit worried about losing that. Nothing too big though. I'm trying to remember, was it... It was Trend. I want to see. We haven't seen Samsung Galaxy's Trend in cups or online tournaments for a long time, but Trend would always leave an extra hole in his gate, not just the one hole for like one unit, because his Archons would always get stuck. And there's sometimes where like Lings would run right past it. I want to see how he does with these new maps, if he still tries to adapt that strategy or not.
I don't know. That's true. We haven't seen the Samsung boys in online cups recently.
Well, Solar still plays in everything ever, but yeah, outside of him.
Yeah, well, he is the golden child, I suppose, of the triplets. Him, Trend, and Galaxy.
Actually, I want to see. I remember talking a little bit, trying to get Stork involved for like show matches a little while back. He never actually got back to me about that. Probably just wants all the money for himself. It's like, no, Stork can't play. Invite me instead. But try to take a third right now.
Yeah, trying to.
Well, this is kind of what I like, though, right? Like, this isn't a 4-gate, this isn't a 3-gate, but it's a little bit of pressure that's kind of a bit of a nuisance. And like I said, for ToD, his best bet might just be trying to shake it up a little bit. I mean, I would really like to see that +1 get associated with some Zealots and a Warp in. 7 Zealots knocked down the third type deal. He does have a pylon finished up, and 3 Zealots have already been warped in. But Jaedong's going to get a scout on this, sadly, and this kind of gives up. ToD was looking to apply a little bit of pressure to that third.
Yeah, but ToD also gets a very good scout with Hallucinated Phoenix into the main, wonders why that third was as late as it was, especially considering the last one was so early. But it was because, you know, he got a lair and he's getting up roaches as well. So any attack that comes in here, Jaedong can cancel it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key thing. Normally this is already finished. You can't cancel it, and that's a big detriment, but may need to just do that. Even the Zealots being focused by the roaches, I don't know if they'll necessarily... Yep, there's the cancel. Couldn't quite get the drone. Time Warp going down instead of a recall, just trying to get away from this. He's still got enough energy for it, but of course you never really want to burn that if you don't have to.
Right. He wants to save those Zealots.
Yeah. I mean, seeing the Smike over there is kind of scary. The roaches are even worse. You know you can't go back for round 2, so just kind of got to back up for the time being. But still on 2 bases. Hasn't thrown down a ton of... Oh, he's just now thrown down the other gateways, actually, so...
Another Blink all-in? No. No, he's just going for that, the Twilight Council for the +2. And probably Blink, but just, like, not an all-in. Yeah. I would think.
I think if he did it any other way, it would be ineffective. At least because Jaedong's already secured... Like, he's already fended this off once. ToD scouted the extra gases. This wasn't like it was 2 gas mining, so low roach count. It's +1 weapons and whatever the hell else Jaedong wants to make.
Well, it's going to be Swarm Host, by the way. We did notice the infestation bit on the production tab. And this early... I mean, we have seen very, very early layers, honestly, or hives, but
this is so dirty from Jaedong. We've seen a lot of people complaining about Swarm Host in general, and I wouldn't say ToD's necessarily the loudest advocate about it, but you know, he was playing Snoot not too long ago. He very, very openly voiced his complaints about them.
Yeah. Well, ToD did, you know, he expands with this. He got that Twilight Council just for the +2 upgrades, and of course he has an Observer this time, so he's not going to be caught completely off guard by a Swarm Host burrow.
Those were initially some pretty awkward force fields too. It's like, oh, I'll just go this way then with my roaches. But ToD lucks down the third. This is a big deal, and this sounds a little bit silly and sarcastic, but this was not something he was able to accomplish last game. And the problem is, no matter what sort of tech you want to take, you can't afford much of it if you're on 2 bases. So this third coming down is really, really nice for ToD. Unfortunately, though, there are Swarm Hosts out, as you pointed out, and it doesn't take many to kill off gateway units.
You know, though, Jaedong has never seemed very strong, honestly, with Swarm Hosts. Every single time he seems to be going strong with them, he messes up like once, and it's a catastrophe. And ToD, on the other hand, has shown very good play against Swarm Hosts. And, like, even if he is stuck on gateway units, he makes the best out of them.
ToD's one of the few people who utilize the force field advantage, nullifying the range of the Locusts. I do actually really like that. I've talked about that a lot in the past too. I mean, Locusts are strong, they attack fast, they're basically free Hydralisks, but they've got range of 3. It's garbage. You can force field and walk away if you need to. Will he? So he's just gonna walk away.
Yeah, he can survive it.
It's a good point you bring up though, because every time we see Jaedong take big victories, whether it's a tournament, a 2nd place, 1st place, whatever, it's usually with, you know, Lings, Roaches, Hydralisks, well, specifically Hydras and Lings more than often. But yeah, it's never really Swarm Host where you go like, wow, you know, like that's Stefano you think of, right? That's not freaking Jaedong.
Yeah, it's I'm sure he's won plenty of games that obviously he if he lost every single game he wouldn't do it, right? Yeah, but it just seems like in cast like games he just seems to mess up more often. He has questionable decisions, but that's what I'm talking about when, like, what is Jaedong in, like, you know, what is his, I can't think of the word right now, not confidence, but like where's his skill at right now in ZVP? You know, it seems to change like month by month, tournament to tournament, and sometimes it's like the greatest thing ever, it's JVP, and then it's bad JVP.
Yeah. Well, moving around the side of the map, this is going to kind of exploit the small weakness of the Swarm Host, where if they're on the other side sending a Locust, they got to take a while to get back home. It would be a big recharge. He could technically snipe this base, limit Locust with force fields, and recall back home if he needs to. And I think that might be his best bet. Yeah, force field's going down to keep roaches back, but there's no roaches here. So as soon as this hatchery falls, he needs to get back home. Good force field will keep the roaches up for now, but there's not a lot of force fields behind this. The roaches are about to break through, so ToD needs to recall ASAP. Yeah, there we go. Colossus pops out, unfortunately, into roaches, trying to walk away from this, and here come all the stalkers.
Important that Jaedong didn't try and commit there and lose all of his roaches as well.
Yep.
He backed up as soon as he saw that recall. Attack on the main as well. War Prism gets in there. Some Swarm Hosts pop out, but they're so slow in dealing with these a lot of the times. The Queen does go down.
Yeah, and in low amounts of this, too, we see the Zealots can even deal with the Locusts here pretty quickly. Not cost-effectively, but still sort of chops them down. Roach is finally getting cleaned up in full. This is really important, though. He maintained the Colossus, and now he's got 2 producing at a time. And the magic number, guys, I mean, you can build as many Colossus as you like, but the reality is you need about 4 or 5 to push back Locust Waves with minimal backlash. With that, combined with Force Fields and this many Blink Stalkers, he should be able to actually potentially pick these off. One of the biggest things for the Stalkers, of course, is once you push back that initial wave, you blink forward past whatever Locusts are left and get right on top of the Swarm Host. Jaedong, knowing this, keeps reburrowing and repositioning after each wave goes out, and I really, really like that. Because in some instances, Swarm Hosts are the set 'em and forget 'em type units. But a lot of the times against very talented Protoss players, like ToD, for example, you can't afford to do that.
Again, a Zealot drop in the main. There are some roaches there to deal with it, but only 3 won't take care of 4 Zealots, much less a whole another warp in.
Oh, I like the force field. He's going to head over to the ramp and cut off reinforcements. If he can knock down that lair, that'll be really nice. Spire going down as well to be focused. Gonna make sure no Mutalisk will catch him off guard. And a Dark Shrine coming up for ToD behind this. But in the meantime, his 4th base under attack by a couple of roaches, and this very awkward Swarm Host is actually in a really good spot to apply pressure. More Zealots are being warped in, though. It looks like that force field did break, so a couple roaches get to the main, but the lair does fall. And with the lair going down on top of the Spire, that means no Spire is going to be remade anytime soon, which means A, no Mutalisk, but B, more importantly, no Corruptors for these Colossus to worry about, so he can just keep pushing.
ToD is playing this great. This is pretty much exactly what we called in the beginning. Jaedong seems a little uncertain with Swarm Host, while ToD seems very certain with Swarm Host. Now attacks are going off on ToD's base as well. His 3rd and main are under attack by a few roaches, killing a lot of probes as ToD, oh, he's using the burrow tactics. That's why ToD's not immediately reacting.
I wasn't aware, saw the attack, thought I got cleaned up. Happens too often, but Zealot's still going on the main. And let's not forget, there are the option of DTs now, so with no Spore Crawlers, Jaedong may just fall to Dark Templar. Granted, you can make an Overseer, but I mean, if there's already 3 DTs on your Nexus, or sorry, on your lair, it's gonna die before the Overseer finishes.
Every time I see, like, on the minimap a group of red units, I'm like so afraid they're all the Swarm Hosts ready to die, but they're always the Locusts. So far, so good.
Well, here come the DTs. You know what? Actually, with that lair having been killed, oh no, it's already been made. I was gonna say you actually can't make Overseers, but he actually can. Jaedong losing a lot of drones. ToD losing a lot of probes. He's finally warping a couple units to clean this up. DTs. The ones in the main still standing. A bit tentative, but Jaedong is actually really not looking to be in a good spot this game. His Swarm Host count isn't high enough to just carry him to victory, sadly. He's taking a lot of damage here.
I mean, this War Prism has been, man, like 1 attack, not so bad. The 2nd attack, just, oh my god, so much damage done.
Yeah.
Finally, it's still going.
Well, he's finally warping in some Overseers here too, but look at this, the charge lots are able to keep up with this, and a big part is they're on level 3 weapon upgrades. They're just shredding anything they touch. Same with the Stalker, same with the Colossus. Queens are running away from this, but I mean, if he focuses that hatchery, it's going to fall.
I can't believe he's oh my, okay, there's also a DT in the 4th. Where is he mining from? Only the 3rd now.
This is looking worse and worse for poor Jaedong. This is not a situation where, yeah, exactly, like he just can't react to this properly. Not with what he has available.
Stabilize. It's heartbreaking to watch games like this, like seriously, just like for anyone, but just not being able to stabilize at all. But it's also really good on ToD. Like ToD is just like like everyone knows get a War Prism, but you know, so many times you see the War Prism die and then they kind of give up on it, and it's like, you know, Colossus versus Locust, and it kind of gets boring. ToD keeps alive, keeps going.
Yeah, I think too a lot of times that happens in every matchup. Though. Like you know the counter, but you don't have you don't find the breathing space to make it. But the War Prism was a really nice addition. It did cut out Colossus production for like what 1 round, but ends up being worth it in the end.
There's no Overseer.
Yeah, these DTs are just gutting everything raw. Spire's coming in. Colossus assaulting the gold while this is going on. Jaedong is down to 27 workers, barely mining off of any base at the moment. Finally, the Overseers come in, but yeah, it picks up with the War Prism.
Wow, I'm surprised Jaedong hasn't just, I mean, I'd be so frustrated by now, I'd just GG out of frustration, but because he has the Swarm Host and they haven't died, he still thinks he has like a chance to come back in this game. And I mean, technically it does. They're free units. They can get you back into games.
Look what ToD's making behind us, though. 2 new Stargates means a lot of Void Rays, means no way to deal with ToD whatsoever.
I mean, I'm trying to like say like Jaedong might think, but we're watching this and we're like, oh no, like four bases for the Firdos. He could get a fifth of the net gold.
You know what,
I'm
though?
surprised he hasn't.
Whether you're rooting for ToD, whether you're rooting for Jaedong, just means more Jaedong if this goes to game 3.
Right? Game 3 not so bad.
So either your favorite ToD wins or you get more Jaedong if you're a Jaedong fanboy. So win-win for the fans, unfortunately. Pretty much looking like a lose for Jaedong.
Yeah.
I really liked his Roach run bys, the splitting off. You know, he killed a lot of probes when he went to the 4th or the 3rd early on.
You know, I'm not sure if he was trying to go into a Spire transition or a Milos transition rather. I don't think he was.
I think it was just
but...
Corruptors for Colossus, if
Yeah.
anything. GG though taps out ToD. We'll take game number 2, guys, leading us to game number 3. No complaints here.